Nostalgia is a powerful tool. In Switzerland, nostalgia from Swiss mercenaries was seen as dangerous because a nostalgic soldier is more likely to desert. Therefore, the herdsman's horn song, the Kurehan, was banned in Swiss mercenary companies. The nostalgic soldier became so notorious among the European public that it took root as a 19th century literary trope. You might say that nostalgia made the Swiss cheese it.
Cheese.
Oh, I almost forgot to introduce myself from this stolen opening bit. The name is
Broxxi.
My name is Björk, and your television is just about to explode!
Long ago in the before time of 1998, a man was creating Cowboy Bebop, the movie. American weeb Shinichiro Watanabe was hard at work squeezing jazz into a space western. Hey, I have an idea, Watanabe said. Let's take Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop and put it somewhere else. Also, let's change out that jazz shtick we have and put in some hip-hop. I got all these friends in the hip-hop scene. This is gonna be fantastic.
No cheese?
Samurai Champloo.
Samurai Champloo is about three tumultuous characters from very different walks of life encountering at a coincidental crossroads in their young lives. The young waitress Fu is stuck working at a local Edo restaurant. She has one simple wish: to head west on a journey to find a samurai who smells of sunflowers. She enlists the help of two very different swordsmen.
Vagrant Mugen!
Bring it, dude. Give me your best shot. How you doing? If you must know, I've been up to no good my entire life.
Tell us something we don't know.
Well, I'd kind of like to shag a chick with great big hooters.
Don't you care if this kid lives or dies?
Nah, can't really say I do!
Vagrant and Ronin G!
Watch and I'll show you my skill. My name is Gene. You should remember it.
What is this guy's name?
Gene, what of it?
Killing you is meaningless. All it would do is tarnish my sword.
For 26 episodes, they journey from here to here. Some things in the show would mean nothing to you unless you were Japanese. For example, Mugen says,
Cause I come from Ryukyu.
do you know what that means? I know you don't, why would you? But if you were a Japanese fella back in the day on your rice farm with your rice hat with your rice wife, rice foo, and you saw a man who claimed to be from the Ryukyu, and he had tattoos like this, he's either a pirate or he's
An ex-criminal.
Samurai Champloo.
Now it's time for the History Wistery session with the one, the only, Doc Broxxi.
Remember that time in school when you learned that samurai fought each other for their funny hat lords? Well, the Edo period came after that when this guy united the country. The Edo period is characterized as a long period of peace and stability. There were Christian daimyos and even a Christian rebellion that was the last large-scale battle in Japan for the next 200 years. It directly led to Christianity being outlawed in the country, and also the borders being closed to the entire world. In fact, if you were a native in Japan and somehow you left the country, you weren't getting in again legally. Japan went through a cultural renaissance, you might say, with a little drip feeding of Western influences. Travel became more accessible to the common person as roads improved. Almost all the Japanese stereotypes and tourist attractions like geisha and poetry, kabuki, came from this period. Western medicines, inventions, and threatened to rapidly change the conservative Japan. Samurai lost their place in the country due to the long peacetime, and what use as a warrior during peace. It was the merchant that became the rising social class as cities grew.
What the hell were they thinking with those dumbass hairstyles?
It's in this time period that our characters travel. It takes place a bit after the Edo period started, but especially after the Christian rebellion, as it is a key point in the story. However, none of this is important. The show is a squeezed-down version of the Edo period. All the things they encounter are just flashpoints in the era. But even as a common viewer, you don't need to know any of this. You could enjoy Samurai Champloo without knowing any of it. but it sure helps to contextualize it all. It does a great job putting us back in time with that rewind from the modern times to the underdeveloped dirt roads. After all, the show's called Samurai Champloo, champuru being an Okinawan dish, but at the very basic meaning of the word it means to mix. A samurai remix.
1, 2, 3.
Like hip hop is the culture born in the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? Like people don't have no money. Straight up, man. Man, do you think Japan have a ghetto? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? So
I've damn near watched this show all the way through in double digits with so many different people through my entire life. It's probably the anime I've watched the most. And it ain't even my favorite. I mean, it's hard to convey what it was like when Samurai Champloo came out, but in my small world it felt like a game changer. I mean, what anime looked like this? Fucking Boondocks?
What's good now?
If anything I say in this video doesn't agree with you though, at the bare minimum, the word cool is the one I'd hope that people would describe this show with, because it sure made my undeveloped brain swell with
Someday I'll make you cry like a little bitch.
Little bitch, do people actually say things like that?
Some of my favorite episodes always involve some kind of character development or self-realization among the trio. For example, Mugen gets dragged into a Yakuza territory war in one of the earlier episodes for self-gain. He didn't want to be someone's tool, but he found it to be just some temporary event for fun. For 2 episodes, he spent some time with this gang until he just grew sick of it.
I don't want to rule or have anyone rule me!
Where are you going? If you stay, you can have whatever you want and do whatever you want. You can't walk away from an offer like that.
I don't believe in anyone but me and what I can do.
Another thug in the Yakuza respects Mugen's self-worth and value on independence, but tells him that there's just some people in this world you gotta listen to, and you can't always get what you want.
What a load of horse piss.
What's that?
Hey, you can make all the excuses you want, but you're the one who decided how to live your life.
How embarrassing.
Another one of my favorite episodes is where the crew is held up in a town due to the rain. Gene meets a girl who's about to kill herself. She's kind and warm to him, and even helps him with a side job he was bound to fail at. She reveals to him that she has to become a prostitute the next day to make up for her husband's gambling debts. Gene decides to visit her as much as possible, even borrowing Mugen's fight money from his Beetle Ring side plot. In the end, Gene does break her out and get her to a woman's shelter. He won't be able to see her for years, but you have a feeling that he'll come back for her in the end. Gene has had very few things in his life to fight for, and he downright refuses to fight for a lord. The Civil War period is over now in Japan, and people like him are almost just useless. However, through episodes like this, Gene does find that there are people worth fighting for. He puts his life on the line for no other reason but his own. To protect people he starts to call friends. Almost every side character is pretty interesting, I'd say. Besides the episode, because it's boring.
How dare you come?
After all, the show's episodic, so there's always new characters to be had. That's fine though, because the side characters are just meant to show the struggles and situations most of Edo Japan was dealing with, like Yakuza.
Ain't they the dudes that need to get their boss's permission before they take a dump?
What? Illegal dealings with Europeans.
Oh, I'm an American. Yankee Doodle.
Shut up!
Drugs and prostitution. The sweet industry of prostitution.
Oh God, it's so good.
The
song thoughts become action. Tell me.
If you've ever watched some kind of reviewer or video essayist on YouTube, I mean, chances are you've heard musical. Hip-hop mixed with jazz is somehow ascendant to the show. While I was making this video, fucking Platina Jazz just put a full jazz version out of the ending theme because jazz and hip-hop and a little bit of R&B are all compatible on a fundamental level. Jun Seba, known for his stage name Nujabes, was a Japanese hip-hop artist that tragically died in a car crash in 2010 at the age of 36. Nujabes, along with the other acts like Force of Nature, Fat John, Tsuchie, and a line of other artists collaborated to make the soundtrack.
That's what good pussy sounds like.
I would not be surprised if the lo-fi hip-hop beats to beat dogs and cry to genre of YouTube stemmed from Samurai Champloo alone. It's so strange that Watanabe conceptualized putting samurai with hip-hop, but it somehow works. The fact that it was born not in the music industry but on the street, the idea of using turntables as an instrument, singing vividly about reality instead of the typical love song. And its links to graffiti and dance. I believe samurai in the Edo period and modern hip-hop artists have something in common. Rappers open the way to their future with one microphone. Samurai decide their fate with one sword.
Do you believe in the power of a curse?
I've talked a lot about the background and the story, but at the end of it all, Samurai Champloo has a theme that really hits a sweet note for me. For a long time, I wrongfully thought the show was just a celebration of Japanese culture in a period, and how cool samurai are. And they're pretty fucking cool. My child brain adored the show for the surface level dopamine that layered my premature brain with, wow, my favorite samurai show, Rurouni Kenshin, sure didn't have a scene where he called someone a piece of shit. Samurai Champloo is about the journey through life during whatever time period you've been dropped into by fate. It's about dealing with your past and carrying that on with you with the people you choose or don't choose to keep along your journey. Every person meets someone new for a season, a year, maybe a lifetime. Whether they stay in your life or walk away, people have a talent of coming and going. You keep a token of them with you, even if it's a small trinket. Either way, at the end of the show, they go their separate ways after realizing all three of them found a friendship in one another. This chapter in their life has turned another page, even if sometimes they wished it never would. Other people they met along the way never sounded like it was the last time they'd meet them, and maybe someday they will. Whether it be for love or kinship, the journey they had together was full of life experiences, even if a lot of it was fantastical in nature. As goofy as it sounds, this is a case where the treasure was not at the end of the journey, but the friends we made along the way.
In the end, we're simply outlaws. Human beings who can't get by in respectable human society. There have always been people cast aside by the rest of the world. Many years ago, I realized people like that have difficult lives they need looking after by someone responsible, like me.
Bye.
Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high, cause you never know when you're gonna go. Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we puff lie, cause you never know when you're gonna go. Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high, cause you never know when you're gonna go. Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we puff lie.